Hello everyone, this is Martha with Bird and Barn Designs, and today I'm bringing you a very special project. I was asked to be a guest DT for Jaizella at Lavish Laces, and I was so very honored. Jaizella's laces are absolutely out of this world. You have to visit her Etsy shop if you don't know her, and I will link that shop in the description below. But she carries beautiful vintage and French and antique laces and just the yummiest goodies that you ever want to see and play with, as well as other items such as rubber stamps and paper packs and mixed media supplies. So there's all kinds of different things that we journal makers and creators love to use, as well as other artists. Sewists. I've gotten so into my sewing lately, and her shop is a go-to for all of the unusual and pretty things, and her prices are amazing. So I wanted to create something very special for the guest DT project. As I said, I was so honored, and I've been wanting to do a needle book for quite some time. I've seen so many of you make these beautiful needle books, and I thought, I want to do something similar, but I want to put a spin on that. So what I came up with is a brooch book. And I thought that it would be so pretty to make a fabric book to put all of the lovely brooches in. And we'll take a look at that here in a moment. So first of all, I created this beautiful satin bag. I love this satin. It's so buttery soft and shimmery. It's just dreamy. It's got such a wonderful feel to it. And on the front of the bag, I created this little snippet out of the Lavish Laces. And I think it turned out so pretty. Just a perfect accompaniment to the shimmery bag, this layers and layers of the luscious lace. So let me bring it up so you can see a little bit better. So I just took snippets of the laces that she sent me, and also I used some of my Lavish Laces out of my stash, but not many. Most of the things that you'll see here are out of the design team package that she sent me, and 100% of the laces are hers. So this little snippet was created by taking little bits and pieces of the laces and just making a little snippet, and then I sewed on little embellishments, little rhinestones, pearls here and there. This little flower I made out of a piece of the lace, and I just sheared it up and drew it together and made this little flower with the little pearl center. And then I added this little poofy piece of tulle out of my stash just to give it some dimension and a little depth. And I think it looks so soft and pretty with the lace and the shimmery satin. And then on the back, I left it plain since, of course it'll be sitting that way. So I just left it plain, and then you can see all that beautiful shimmery satin. And on the sides, I added a little piece of ribbon flower. I cut out of some ribbon flower fabric, and I just added that on either side. There's one over here as well. And then for the top, for the drawstring, I made it so it makes a little poofy ruffle on top, which I think is so sweet. So that is the bag that holds this very special project. So let's open it up, shall we? I drew the bag closed with this beautiful satin ribbon. I love that ribbon as well. It's so pretty with the satin fabric. And I just think the hand feel to it all is just lovely. So let's take a look at what we have inside. Y'all, I worked so hard on this book. I hope you love it as much as I do. It was really a labor of love. So here she is. Oh my goodness. This was such a pleasure to do and to play with all these dreamy laces. And when I tell you it was a labor of love, it really was. I would work on it and lay the pages out and lay the laces out, and then I'd come back a little while later and redo them, or I'd think of something else I wanted to do and change it all up again. So it took me a couple weeks to make, but I just love how she turned out. So for the front, we've got some pretty things going on here. I trimmed all of the book in pretty lavish laces. I didn't want to do too much right here on the cover because we've got a lot coming out of the inside. Look at the inside, y'all. Look at how poofy and pretty all those laces are. And then on the side with the beautiful ribbon and all the pretties peeking out there. And then on the bottom, we've got all of these beautiful, luscious laces poking out. So I have to tell you, I did a decorative stitch all around the edge of the cover, and I thought, oh, that'll be so pretty. I did a pretty floral stitch, and then I covered up 100% of it with all of the pretty laces when I got going. So what I should have done is probably drop the stitching down a little bit so you could see it, and it would add a decorative element. But lesson learned. You know, everything's a work in progress, and I think with each project we learn and we grow and we get new ideas. So I just kind of got tickled that I worked so hard to get it all even and straight, and then I covered it all up. But you know, that's a Martha move. So in the corners here, I used a little piece of that ribbon flower fabric and put little vintage pearls. Those are vintage pearls from my stash. And on this flower and this flower and these two right here that I put on the spine, those were made out of this beautiful lace here that was in my design team package. Isn't that pretty? It would look pretty on the edge of a page, a journal page, or on a tag as a tag topper or edger, but they make the best flowers with this scalloped lace. So what I did is just took my needle and thread and just did a running stitch all down the center and drew it together to shear it up, and it makes these beautiful little flowers. You just wind it around and sew it on the side, and look how sweet those are. I just love it. So that's that. And then again, oh, I'm sorry for the traffic noise today. There's lots going on out front today. So the little ribbon flowers here on the spine, and then you can see the pretty ribbon, and then this underlayment we'll look at in a moment. So for the wrap, I did this little, it's just a little band that I put on there and wrapped it with. So let's take a look at that. I took a piece of satin, get the tie out of there, took a piece of satin, let's see if we can see it right there, and I doubled it over and just sewed it on the ends and backed it with some of the lavish laces. Just this beautiful wide piece. I think it's so pretty. You can see the little trim, the scallops here, and the little trim down there, and then it's got that beautiful pattern. And then on the front, I took a wider piece, and this is like a little ruffle. Let's see, if you can see it here. This was two pieces. So that's the little ruffle piece. And what I did is I laid it one on top of the next where the edge was, and I just stitched it that way to make a wider piece here. And I love how it ruffles up and just makes a perfect backdrop for all the goodies. So again, I just put little pretties here and there, sewed them on. The little ribbon flowers here, I put rhinestone centers in, and then little pearl touches on the side. And then this came out of my stash. This was from an estate sale that I got. It was in a long piece, and it just was one bow after the next, and I've been cutting on it for about a year now, just using little pieces here and there. And then I laid the ribbon here. I did a wider piece on the bottom, and that is sewn into the satin there. And then on the top, I sewed this piece of smaller in the matching satin to give it, you know, some dimension and some visual interest. And then on the bottom here, on each of the bottoms, I took a little ribbon flower for that one, and on this one I used again a piece of this lace and just laid it across on that side, and on this side a little piece of a applique that I cut out. So that is on both ends here. And I think those look so pretty. Where's my little end? So when they're dangling, they just look so pretty all together. So that is the wrap, and this of course can be used on a journal for you journal makers if you want to use it in the future on another project. It's perfectly able to do that. And then for the cover, again, I wanted to see the beautiful satin that matches the bag, so I didn't want to cover it all up. So I took this vintage doily out of my stash and I just laid it all across the front and the back. And then it has this little ruffly effect here that I think looks so pretty. So you've got some visual interest there. And if you wanted to use the sash on something else in the future, you could put a pretty brooch there, a pretty pin. Let's see, there's my, see how pretty something like that would look in the middle. You could pin something on. So it's versatile. You can do other things with it. So let's look inside, shall we? I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, this was so fun. And again, look at all this yumminess poking out the sides and the top and the bottom. It's just so yummy and delicious. So here we go. Here is the first page. Look at all this yummy layers of beautiful, beautiful lace. Oh my gosh. When I wanted to think about this project, I really wanted to honor the lace and the beauty of it. And I didn't want to overdo with a lot of blingy things. I wanted just a few brooches here and there. What this started out to be is I was going to put my special brooches in that my mother and some special family friends and things had given me over the years. But then I thought, you know, this right now I don't have my craft room set up the way I want, and it would just sit in my armoire and be not seen. So I thought I'll do one of these for myself in the future, but I'm going to offer this up right now. So I just put some beautiful pins all throughout the book. If you're a journal maker, you can certainly use these pins in projects and put your own pins in there as a keepsake. You can use it as a book to keep your pretties in that you use for creating. It's really versatile. You can do quite a few things with it. So I've included enough pins for people to either wear or use in their projects. And on this first page, we've got this lace snippet here. I took a beautiful piece of the whiter lace from Lavish Laces, and I just did a little stitch through there and sheared it up again to make this little flouncy piece here. And then I cut one of these flowers right here out, and I added it to the backing there to give it a little dimension, and I just pinned a pin on there. So that's beautiful. And then underneath, I use this gorgeous wide lace. That's this piece here that was in my design team package. Look, let me get the right side here. Look at how beautiful that is. Look at the detail on that. Isn't that lovely? And then I just laid it down across the whole book. So you get it on the front and it will be on the back. And then it adds a little interest on the bottom. And then I put this beautiful piece here of ruffle, and that is that's what this is here. These two pieces, the top and the bottom, that's what this is made out of. So that was so pretty and just adds a little more dimension down here, a little poofiness. And on the side here, I edged it. Let's see, where did that lace go? I edged it in a beautiful lace. Here it is. This one. And this, again, I love this one. It's got so much dimension with the stitching. I love that look. And it looks just beautiful on the side of the page there. And then on the top here, I just did a poofy tulle piece and attached this beautiful cameo pin. Did another piece of whiter lace up here, and I ruffled it up, and I just trimmed it in some little trim I had in my stash just to add a little color, so it wasn't all just so neutral. I like to mix the creams and the whites and the beiges together. That's like my color palette, but I like to add little dreamy pastels in there too. So this little pink organza and pearl trim I thought went really nicely in there. So there's that. And then in the pocket, I wanted to tuck you a little goodie. So I beaded you a bracelet, and just a pretty little pink bracelet. It ties in with this pink trim up here. I thought that was pretty. And then on the card, I just used some Lavish Laces. This came out of a grab bag that I got from Jaizella's shop. This beautiful, beautiful fabric. I love it. And then I tied it with a sweet little bow. And that bow was made out of this trim here that she sent me. And there again, that would make a beautiful edging on a tag or a pocket or a journal page. Just so sweet, so dainty. I love that. So that's that page. And then on this page, I took a couple pieces and just layered them in. And this came out of my stash that I got from Lavish Laces. All of my Lavish Laces I put on these spools, so I know that these are Jaizella's that I got in her shop. And I have a big wooden crate that I have them all sticking up in, and they look so pretty. But this, oh my gosh, y'all, this is my favorite. I even messaged her to see if she had any more because I couldn't find it in her shop, and she does not. Look at that. Isn't that feminine and dainty and just so pretty? So I am hoarding this last little piece, but I couldn't resist putting it in the book. I thought it looked so pretty with this fabric, this textured fabric. I got this from a lady that I get sari silk from, and she included some pretty pieces like this. And I love the texture, the little bit of gold in there with the pretty gold brooch. I thought it was just so pretty. So I just layered that in to give a little texture to go along with this. And I used a lace from Jaizella that is the corded lace. So that has texture. Oh, excuse me, I was about to sneeze. So this has texture, the fabric has texture, and then the beautiful lace with the texture. And then I just used an applique out of my stash and put some little pearls in the center. So there again, the pin can be removed and used. And I just think it's so pretty. So there's that spread. And then when we turn the page, I have a hard time not gasping. I have to hold this up so it lays right when I turn it. This is stunning. Look at this page. That spread. We'll talk about the right side in a moment. Oh my gosh, it takes my breath away. For this side, oops, we got a little smudge there. I just used some wedding appliques here on the top and the bottom, and I used some little pearl trim out of my stash. And then I edged the sides with this beautiful little lace, did a beautiful chiffon bow on top here. And then for the backdrop, for the lovely cameo, I cut out a piece of that lace that we used for the pocket on the front page, piece of this. I just cut that out, kind of rounded the edges so it wasn't so severe, and used that as a simple backdrop against the satin with the beautiful brooch, with the pretty soft chiffon. I just think that is so elegant. I just love it. A little bit of pearl down there. I think it's so pretty. And on this side, this is breathtaking. This one takes my breath away. Look at how gorgeous this is. This piece, I have to tell you, I have been hoarding this piece for probably a year. This came in one of Jaizella's grab bags. And if you have not gotten one of Jaizella's grab bags, you have to run to her Etsy and get one. When I tell you they are fantastic, I am not joking. Can you imagine this coming in a grab bag? Here I've got a couple grab bags here. Has some beautiful crochet in there, some beautiful trims, different trims. And then look at these pieces that come in these grab bags. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? And look at how much is in there. Like, it goes on for days. This piece was in another grab bag that I got. That beautiful cotton with the dainty lace, the pin tucking in there, and such generous pieces. Usually when you get a grab bag, you get little snippets, you know, a couple inch snippets, but Jaizella includes the most fabulous pieces, and this was one of them. So when I started doing this book, I thought, okay, this has to go in the book. I can't hoard it any longer. I have to part with it. But look at how dreamy this is. Let me hold this up so you can see. Look at that dreamy, soft, beautiful, this pointed lace. This, I'm thinking, is probably antique. It's probably more than vintage. It came this color. It's got that beautiful coloring in it. It's so shabby, so delicate, so beautiful. And then I used a applique that came in one of the grab bags. And I put this pretty waterfall pin. And I think that just looks so pretty. It's just so cohesive with the waterfall here, the sheared, dripping, beautiful lace here. I added a little pearl dangle that I made at the bottom of the applique just to kind of just bring it all together. And then that beautiful wide lace that I used for the backdrop there. And I just think it's so, so beautiful. Let's see, for this one, I used this wide lace here, and I covered the page with it. And I don't know if you can tell, well, you kind of can. This was how it came in the beautiful white, and I just gave it a little tea bath to kind of tie in with the vintagey feel. So look how beautiful it is this way and this way. So the laces are lovely for dyeing as well. But this, oh my gosh, you all, this is so dreamy. I just absolutely love this. This is going to be hard to part with. I just want to play with it. It's so gorgeous. So we'll go to the next one. And here we have a little more simple page. I wanted to leave a little room in the book to add their own, whoever the recipient is, they can add their own things to it. And like I said, they can either use it to use these in embellishments for their own projects in their wardrobe to wear the pins. They can take them out and add their own pins that are sentimental to them and keep it as a keepsake book. So lots of versatility going on here. But I wanted to leave enough room here and there to add to. So here, this little applique was out of my stash, but I did use the Lavish Laces trims all around. This trim that goes all around here is this beautiful one. I think that's so lovely. Little scallop, that's so pretty. And then here, I cut a piece out of one of the wider laces, and I just did like a little cut of the pattern. It's not symmetrical, which I love. I just cut one of the florals out of there and used it as a backdrop, and I sewed this little pearl bow in there just to be pretty. I think that's really lovely. And then on the bottom, I tea-dyed some of the lace. This piece here was off to the side over here, and I cut that out and made a little background for another one of the ribbon flowers that we made out of this lace again. That just lends itself so well to ribbon flowers. Or lace flowers. I keep calling them ribbon flowers. They're lace flowers. So a little bit of trim out of my stash, a little pearl trim just to tie in with the pearl bow here. But I just love how this piece here turned out. It was a long piece of flat lace, and I just kind of gathered it up here and there when I sewed it, so it gave a little dimension to it. And then over here on this side, this piece was a collar that was in one of the grab bags from Jaizella. And this is a vintage wedding dress applique out of my stash. And then I made a little flower there out of some lace and some tulle and some chiffon. Put a little jeweled center in there. And this is just safety pinned in there, so that can be taken off and used in another project if the recipient wishes. And then I just put this pretty little pearl trim with the rhinestone dangles on there. I thought that was so sweet, and it leaves plenty of room to add other things. And then this is the center of the signature. I used a piece of chiffon. Let's see if I've got one. I ruffled a piece of chiffon just like that, and I placed it in there. And then for the center, I used a piece of ribbon out of Jaizella's stash and just stitched it over. And then I love when you close the book, I love how it just poofed up like that and ruffled up. I think it looks so soft and pretty. So then the next page here, again, I left it a little less embellished so things can be added to it. There again is that piece that we just looked at, the other side of this piece. And here you can tell a little better how the coloring, the tea dye against the white. And the satin that I used to back this page with, I tea dyed as well. So you can see little bits of the tea dye coloring in there, and then the tea dyed flower here. And this flower is got this beautiful brooch in the center, so this is detachable. You can remove that, put your own center or different brooch in there should you wish to use this or wear this. Then up in the corner here, I just gave you a little rhinestone heart on a bulb pin that I tied a little tulle bow around there, put a little applique from my stash, and then behind it, it's backed with some beautiful Lavish Laces snippets, and then that beautiful scalloping on that big wide piece of lace I love. Little applique from my wedding dress applique stash, and then this little flower here, look at how pretty. I did that out of this lace, and this lace is stunning as well. Look at how delicate that is. So it makes the perfect flower. I just love that. So, so pretty. It's got so much detail in it. So that was that piece. And then on this side, I did a snippet cluster, and on the back, we've got that piece I just showed you that the flower was made from, and then a piece of crocheted lace here, which was in the design team box, that beautiful piece. And then this was a piece out of my Lavish Laces stash right here. Look at how pretty that is with the little dots in there, polka dots and the pretty floral. And then this piece, I love this. This is an insertion lace. So that's this piece. That was included in my box. And you can run ribbon through there, or in this instance, I used lace. I wanted to add some texture, so I used this piece of lace here. And I thought that looks so pretty. And I wanted to add texture because this page is rather plain, so that gives it dimension. And then I attached a little bulb pin that holds the snippet, and I attached this pin through the snippet. I didn't not want to put this through the satin because this pin is, let's see, it's rather thick, if you can see right there. It's rather thick, so I didn't want to poke it through the satin. A cotton or a canvas or something would be fine, but satin is a little delicate. I was afraid it would run. So that's detachable. That can be used in another project. Again, I use beautiful Lavish Laces trims. This was another applique out of my stash that I tea dyed, but this little snippet here, that is this piece, a piece of this beautiful ribbon there, or lace. I keep calling it ribbon, lace. And then behind it, this little collar that we just looked at over here, up here it had a little point on it that wouldn't fit on the page, so I just snipped that little point off and used it for my cluster there. So every bit of everything gets used. I love that. So there's that, and then a little vintage pearl in the center. And then on this side, I think this one's so fun. This is the last spread. I did a big floppy bow out of some of the laces and some tulle. I think it's so whimsical and so fun. I love it against this textured fabric. I did a layer of the wide lace and just kind of rounded it for the bow tulle behind it, the wide lace, another tulle layer, and then another wide lace. These are 2 different laces out of my Lavish Laces stash. And I just love it. And I just gathered them together and sewed the middle to make a little bow, and then put this beautiful brooch on there. Isn't that pretty? Oh my goodness, I love that. And then on the bottom, I did another little flower out of the lace, and I attached this beautiful cameo. This cameo I found in an antique shop, and it is so beautiful. I just love her. She's got the prettiest face. I have a thing about cameos. If they don't have a pretty face, I just kind of pass them by. But that was a special one, and I love the color. And then these 2 together, I just thought were so, so pretty. So again, I left enough room where other things can be added in there. And then look how pretty. You can get a better idea of how pretty this corded lace looks with the textured fabric. I think it just all comes together so pretty. And then the soft lace and the floppy bow to add a little bit of softness to it all. And then on the back here, we've got a lace pocket. Some more of that beautiful lace that was used on the front page. So when you close the book, it's cohesive. I just ruffled that up a little bit. And this lace, I don't think we talked about that. That is this piece. And what I did is right about here, I just cut a piece there and a piece there. And I just ran my stitch through there to ruffle it up. I sheared it up, and it made this ruffle. So these wide laces are so, so versatile. They can be dyed, they can be cut up. You can cut, like I did here, a wider piece. You could cut right here, right under there, and have just a smaller piece, and then you'd still have all of this to use for something. So just lovely, lovely options with that. So again, in the little pocket, I made you some pretty little bracelets. This one has a little heart in it here. And this one has some little flowers with the pearls. I love that. And then I collaged some laces, some of the Lavish Laces on the bottom there of the tags. Brought that around to give it a little interest. And then I tied the little bows. This one, let's see, do we have that piece? That one was again this piece here, which I love. And this also is an insertion lace. You can see the little holes here. And I did not have ribbon narrow enough to put through there, or I would have, to add some more dimension. But I just love this lace. It's so vintagey, pretty. I just love it. So I did that. And on this piece, let's see, do I have that one anywhere? Yes, this piece came in my design team package. And let's see, that was this one right here. And look at how beautiful that is. So dainty and soft. Very, very delicate. I love that. So there is that one. And let's see, we talked about the, yes, we did. We talked about the grab bags. So we showed you that already. Oops, this was a piece in the design team package as well. That one's so pretty too. So I think we covered all of the bases. So there's those. And then for this pocket, I added this little clip, sweet little clip that can be used for lots of things. And I just wanted to kind of gather that up a little bit to give it some visual interest. Gives it a little texture and lets you see more of the lace behind it. So down here, this was just a little piece of a floral piece from my stash, and I added some little netted tulle behind it to give it dimension as well. But I love how that all looks. If you don't want to leave the cards in there, you could tuck a pretty hanky, a vintage hanky in here to polish your pretties with. You could tuck little jewelry pieces in there. You could do all kinds of things with the pockets. So I love that. And again, if you don't want to tuck anything in there, you can just leave it visual, and you've got all this room here and here to add more things to. And then on the back, it's just the vintage doily that I wrapped around, and it allows you to see all of the beautiful satin and the beautiful laces. So that is my special project. I hope you liked it as much as I did creating it. This, like I said, was a labor of love. I played with it, arranged things, rearranged things, redid them, slept on it, got up the next day and rearranged them again. And after a couple weeks of playing and creating, this is what it turned out to be. And I absolutely love it. I will be making one of these for myself in the future when I get my craft room in order. And I will put some special keepsakes in there. So again, you can use it for your craft room storage. Put your pretties in there. All these brooches can be used in projects of your own, or they're pretty enough that you can wear them. You can add your own, take these out and add your own keepsakes and have it as a keepsake book. Lots of different options with this, but I thought it was just a little bit different, and I absolutely love how it turned out. You get these bows. I'm picky about my bows. So there she is. I hope you love her. She will be in my Etsy shop or available by private message. Of course, the pricing is a little bit better by private message because of the Etsy fees, but I will have her listed, and she will be available and extremely hard to part with. So Jaizella, I just thank you so very much. It was such an honor and a pleasure to work with your lovely laces. Like I said, your shop is one of my favorites. I absolutely love everything that you have in there, and the selection, the variety, the pricing, it's all so lovely. And this was just a dream. I absolutely had so much fun. It stretched my creativity, and really by the time it was all over with, I just absolutely adore how it turned out. So I'd love to know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think and how you would use the book. Would you use it in your craft room for storage? Would you use it for keepsakes? I just think there's so many things that could be done with it. So thank you all so much for watching. Jaizella, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for the opportunity. Please stay tuned to my channel. She also included in the design team box some lovely papers and some vintage ledgers that I want to play with. So I will be making a second project out of some paper things. And of course, adding some lace embellishments. I've got plenty here to play with. So you've got your beautiful book. You've got your lovely bracelets, and we've got the beautiful, beautiful satin bag that goes with it all. So that is my project. I hope you all have a blessed rest of your day, or whenever it is that you're watching. Thank you so much for your support, and I look forward to bringing you another video very soon. Thank you all. Bye.